What is up? Conversation I often have with clients within the clinic is, why do muscles get stuck in contraction? Why am I tight? How did I generate this injury? And a lot of time the conversation leads to the idea of muscle fibers getting stuck in contraction, muscles getting shortened, let's say. Now, let's have a look at a muscle. Muscle, most people can visualize it, sticky thing. We're talking about skeletal muscle here now, parts in regards to what moves us. Moves us. The skeletal muscle under a microscope, it's full of fibers. Go a little lower again, you see these myosin and actin, these filaments that kind of walk over each other. So as they're walking over each other, that would be the same as the fibers shortening. That would be what's happening when a muscle is contracting and swelling. These actin and myosin require a blood supply. They can require energy arriving for this walking of the tissue. Now, if there's a disruption to this walking of the tissue, if there's an ischemic event, what I should say is, like, if there's a disruption of the energy supply via some type of ischemic event, something that prevented the blood from getting there, then they don't have the energy to walk back, to elongate again, and they get stuck in this state. Now, these are tiny little things. That would be the biochemical reasoning to why muscles can get stuck in contraction. This is where a physical therapist, a physiotherapist, all these hands-on type body workers can help by introducing blood back into these areas that require a blood supply. This is where needles come in, this is where exercise come in, but resistance comes in. So we want to pump blood, get blood in there so that the tissue can elongate and move quite freely again. So that's it is really physical, really. It's not too difficult to comprehend the value of movement, exercise, coaches, physical therapists, the physios, and why you'd want to get blood into that area. There's this kind of a rhymey thing. It said misuse, abuse, underuse, overuse. So these are the reasons why there could be a disruption to the blood supply to the tissue. So abuse would be like someone got a knock. Underuse is someone doesn't get off the couch. Overuse is someone's just always on the go, and misuse is someone's using their body in a dysfunctional manner, and that maybe they have some messed up movement patterns. So this is like going across the active to the sedentary. So everyone is likely to experience something along those lines. So nobody, I don't think, can get away with it. I don't think. At some point in their life, I'd imagine everyone is developing muscle tension. Anyway, the other reason why muscles can get stuck in a contracted state is neurological. So we have biochemical and we have neurological. Neurological is something to do with your neurology and your brain, your neurons. I tell my arm to do this, I tell my finger to do this. I'm consciously involved in the contracting of the tissue. Someone jumps in that window behind me with an axe, and I tense up, I freeze. I have a reflexive contraction of my tissue. That wasn't conscious. That was an unconscious contraction. I didn't plan to do that. I didn't know that guy was coming in. And someone beeps a horn. So there's multiple reasons why you could have an unconscious contraction. If I thought the roof was going to fall in on top of me, I'd be tense. Anyone who's done a PhD or doing their leaving cert will understand that, like, there is these tensions that just set in from like a non-physical influence. Prolonged stress, someone going through a strain, that's going to do it. Tiredness and fatigue, psychological issues, PTSD, the list goes on, right? And then the intervention in that regard, also there's a manual therapy, exercise, meditation, things that mellow you out. Float tanks would be something I would have used previously. The people jumping into the sea, whatever it is that, I suppose, I don't need to list them. I don't want to go outside my scope. Whatever it is that kind of calms the neurology, calms the nervous system, puts the body into a parasympathetic state, like a restful state. The shoulders drop. It's not difficult to imagine it. And these can be beneficial for removing, or psychotherapy is probably a really good one to mention in regards to all that stuff. So going to a psychologist. these are reasons that or these are interventions that can help in regards to the neurological induction of a stuckness, a contraction in the body. So I had biochemical and I had neurological. So that might make it easier to understand, first of all, why the body gets stuck and tension builds up in the body, why tiredness and exhaustion can set in. Of course, there's a multitude of reasons why a biochemical contraction came in and or a neurological contraction came in. But the point of this basically is all manageable. So that the helplessness or powerlessness need not be the case. We're robust, resilient creatures, us humans. Well, I hope that was helpful. If you would like to see me do more of these talks, will you let me know? Give me a question. I don't know. I would do it again. Would you?